How many primos can you get in 24 hours as a free-to-play player? Well, that was the exact question on my mind after getting Navia while building Pity for Skirk. So in this video, I started my journey of insanity and gave myself the chance to collect as many primos as I could, but with two separate rules. I can only use free-play methods to collect Primogems, and I also only have 24 hours to complete this challenge. But that's not it, because if I fail to get at least 90 pulls by the end of this video, I cannot pull for her. So will I be able to get Skirk in just 24 hours? Well, let's find out. Now before we get started, let me quickly show you guys my primo count. Yeah, as you can see, I have a total of a whopping 0 primos, and for the pity, I think I'm exactly at 1, which basically means that I need to get as many primos as I possibly can to somehow get Skirk. Now my plan for the first few days is to complete the fast and easy ways to get primos like the events and stuff, and then I'll move on to the other harder and more secret ways to get primogems later in the video. Well, now that's enough talk. Let's start the challenge now in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And just like that, the timer had started. So without wasting any of my time, I got straight to work. My first target was to complete the main Fontaine event, as I only had a few hours left, but it was locked behind some quests which took me around 20 minutes to complete and gave me access to the main events tab. Here, I learned that this event was just a mini business management simulator, so for the next 2 hours, I logged in and put my economics degree to work and did everything I could to maximize the profits of my totally illegal business venture, and also speedrun through every minigame that I had available, which gave me a dookie 4-star weapon and around 800 primos in total. But still, even after doing all that, I noticed that I hadn't even touched the main event story, which actually gave some extra primos as well. So I started speedrunning it, which took me an extra hour, but also gave me around 200 primos, bringing my total to 1000. But just when I thought this challenge was going well, I made my very first big mistake. While digging through the events tab for more stuff to do, I came across a Scorpius character quest, which was actually giving a bunch of free mats and also some extra primos upon completion, and it only had less than 3 hours remaining. So without thinking even for a second, I went berserk and sat through the entire quest to help the Scorpio become the best chef in Taiwan. But little did I know, what sounded like my best decision at the time actually turned out to be one of the worst ones of this entire challenge. You see, even with these extra rewards, doing character quests only gives you around 2 primogems per minute, which might not sound too bad at first, but when you compare to the other ways to get primos that are later in the video, you'll see how this became one of the least efficient things that I had ever done. So to not lose momentum, I decided to do the Kinich and Dryden trial runs, which gave me 20 primos each, and also switched up my strategy to save my run. After that dumb Escoffier fiasco, I think I'm pretty much done with doing character quests for the rest of the challenge, so instead I'll focus on completing the permanent game modes like the Abyss and stuff, and also do this weird event thingy. So yeah, that's the plan. Let's get started. And so with my newfound motivation, I was unstoppable. I quickly geared up my characters and Maui cut my way through floors 11 and 12. Then I wasted a bunch of time in the trader because I was too lazy to read the boss gimmicks, so I borrowed my friend's OP characters because money solves every problem, and also hard my way through that entire Clash of Clans minigame. And somehow doing that only took me less than 2 hours, and it gave me a total of 2000 primogems, which is the highest one-day primo increase yet. But now after exhausting primos from the permanent content, you might be thinking that collecting such large amount of primos again should be basically impossible, right? Well, I'm happy to tell you that this could not have been further from the truth, because the largest source of primogems had been actually in front of us this entire time. You see, while I was frantically looking for more stuff to do, I came across this weird exploration event thingy, which was giving an extra 400 primos for exploring the new Varesa volcano area. So without wasting even a second, I got to work. But I wasn't just gonna randomly look for chests, because that is actually one of the slowest ways to get your exploration number up. You see, exploration in Genshin doesn't work the way most people think it does, meaning that you don't actually have to collect every single chest to 100% an area. So instead of focusing on that, collect the oculi of the region first, as it can give you up to 30% exploration for just 30 minutes of work. And so with this in mind, I started grinding and collected every single Pyroculus that I could see, and also completed any mini quest or puzzle that came in my way, which led me to unlock new secret areas and also gave me a bunch of achievements and rare chests. By hour 7, my exploration progress had finally started to look higher, and I had around 40 Pyroculus in the bag. So I went to the nearest statue of the 7, leveled it up to level 6, and got the keys to the Natlan Shrines of Death, which helped me collect this luxurious chest and gave me 80 extra primos.
Hey, not a bad haul.
So guys, I think I've basically cleared out most of the Pyroculus stuff in this area, so I think I'll change my objective now to collect as many chests as I can to get primos and sigils and stuff. Now I only have like 14 hours left, so let's not waste any more time and get started. And thus for the next hour, I started ravaging through every chest that I could see, which was still somehow less than the amount on the Zenless Star Variants. And I also got this missing blue obsidian ring pieces, which helped me unlock the Sanctifying Elixir area and also increase my exploration by about 11%. But still, midway through doing all this, I realized that I already made my second big mistake. You see, when I went to claim the 400 primo exploration rewards, the event showed me that I had just explored 60% of this entire region, meaning that I was missing nearly half of the exploration primos. And this is exactly where I learned that there's actually a whole ass second island which I completely missed due to it being locked behind a world quest. Needless to say, all hope had left my body. I had brutally underestimated the size of these islands and almost spent 2 hours bathing near a volcano. And to make matters even worse, I only got 700 primos out of it, making it the second worst primo per minute activity I had done. But still, while I was in this panic mode, I decided to stop messing around and got straight back to work. For the remainder of the day, I collected even more Pyroclus and also a bunch of chests for the Pyro Sigils because they actually give crazy rewards in Natlan. But while I was spamming left clicks to finish the finale of the Natlan new quest, I ran into another big problem that actually ended up wasting a bunch of my time. You see, to finally get my rewards from this quest, I needed 3 of these things called the Golden Entreaty, which was basically a special item you get after completing the major world quest in Natlan. Now luckily I had somehow managed to get 2 of them already, but was missing one from the version 5.2 world quest, which involved helping this aggressive blue dragon. So exactly at the halfway mark, I said to go back and complete this world quest, which ended up costing me about 30 minutes, but also gave me some extra primos to compensate. Then I ran back to the Flying Islands and used that special item there to finally complete the Natlan Primo quest. From there I used all of my extra Pyroclus that I had collected and also gave all of my sigils to the clock thingy, which helped me get a ton of primos and also a shrine key, enabling me to finally 100% exploration in both of these areas, earning me a total of around 27,000 primos in just one day, making it the second highest primo per minute activity of this entire challenge, just behind the secret strat which I'll reveal later in the video. Also later that day, Genshin did their version 5.7 livestream, meaning that I got an extra 300 primos for pretty much doing nothing.
Okay, slay.
Now at this point in the challenge, the time was already halfway over, and even though I was doing much better than I had initially expected, I knew I couldn't afford to make any more mistakes as I had only collected around 8,000 primos in total, which weren't even enough to get halfway close to pity. But luckily for me, by this time the theater had reset, so I quickly did that for 800 primos, used a random code on Twitter that I saw, claimed the free monthly wishes, as well as the achievement primos from expiration that I had missed. But by this point, I had pretty much used up all of my big primo sources, so I decided to complete the one final thing on my list that's actually one of the easiest ways to get primos, and somehow most of the fandom doesn't even know about it. You see, in the Star Teapot, if you head over to the flower icon here, you'll find these things called the companion furnishing sets, which are basically just a collection of furniture that's liked by certain characters who give special rewards like 20 primos and some mora when you make them. Now at first, these rewards might sound kinda underwhelming, but did you know that you can actually get 20 primos twice for each character you own, which adds up surprisingly fast. Plus, this can also be one of the most time efficient ways to get primos, as long as you avoid these 3 common mistakes. So first off, always keep in mind that not all furnishing sets are ever made the same, meaning that certain sets are liked by a ton of characters, but the other ones are just liked by a single one. So make sure to look up these sets on the wiki before you buy these recipes. Also, if you're an OG player like me, try to do the Bonsai ones first, because you probably already have a bunch of furniture used in those sets just lying in your inventory. Next up, to save your sanity, always place your characters in a straight line and just go talk to the guy who's out of position to get your primos. And finally, even if you don't need primos right now, just make sure to buy these bottle speed up thingies, and trust me, your future self will thank you for doing this. And so with all that in mind, I went straight to the Teapot, switched up my realms to start a clean slate, and then started placing these sets and talking to every single character that I had available. But after doing this for about an hour, I had completed all the sets that I had. So I went back to Tubby, bought some new recipes, chopped in every single tree into vat, and also made a bunch of furniture. Sadly, however, after doing that for a bit, I had basically ran out of these realm coins and even the speed up thingies, so I switched to completing the Saurian event, which took me another 30 minutes, earning me a total of 1800 primos in just 2 hours. But after finishing this Teapot stuff, I had pretty much run out of things to do, but because I only had a third of what I needed to guarantee Skirk, I came up with a brand new plan to speed my primos up. Alright guys, so I think that my best bet now is to go back to Exploration, because that gave like a whole ass bomb of primos. So my plan is to use the Pyroclus and Sigils method with this area of Natlan, and then I'll move on to the other areas afterwards. Now I only have like 8 hours left, and Skirk is coming out in like 2 days, so let's not waste time and get started. And thus for the next 5 hours, I started collecting everything that I could see, and also got some Pyroclus and quests that I had missed. But midway through collecting all these chests, I realized that exploring this area actually became my final big mistake. You see, even though this plan of first collecting sigils sounds perfect on paper, I did not know that the sun clock thing actually had a version limit which was already maxed out, meaning that I could not get any more rewards from it. And to make matters even worse, unlike the sigils, the Oculus requirements of the Statue of the Seven increases exponentially, making collecting these Pyroclus a giant waste of time. And as if all this wasn't enough, these areas were also much more confusing and bigger than I had expected. So even after 5 hours of wandering around this place, I had very little to show for it. So I decided to cut my losses, collect this free weapon, open the Shrines of Death, and stop this madness. But now, with only 4 hours left on the clock, things are starting to look very grim for me. Skirk's banner was coming out in less than 1 day, and I still didn't have enough primos to even guarantee 1 pity. And as if things weren't already bad, I had already finished all of my events and also explored majority of Natlan, which meant that I had nothing left to do. Or so I thought. You see, in my desperate attempt to get more Primogems, I set to open the interactive map one final time, just to make sure I hadn't missed anything. And as you might have already guessed, I did, because I somehow managed to stumble upon this area called the Sea of Bygone Eras, which changed my run forever. So if you don't know, this thing is basically just an underwater area in Fontaine that has some world quests, Hydroclus, and a crazy amount of rare chests that give a bunch of primos. But now you must be thinking, why would you even go to this place? Wouldn't exploring Natlan still give more Primogems because their chests have better rewards? Well, that is correct, but we're not here to collect chests. You see, while building Arlecchino, I partially did the main world quest of this area, Navia and unlock this special item called the Symphon's Bounty, which is a puzzle thingy that gives Primogems upon completion. So with only 3 hours left of the clock, I went in ham and solved every single one of them, collected a bunch of rare chests, and also completed the quest that I had left over. And thanks to me being lazy in the past, the statue level was also kinda low, so I used up all of my hydroxyls that I had collected and got some extra primos. But even after doing all that, I still had around 45 minutes left on the clock. Thankfully, however, the abyss had just reset, so I quickly geared up my characters and went in to complete the final challenge of this run. Now using Mawika and Navia, I quickly decimated anything that came in front of me, but when it came to the final floor, Mawika couldn't just Oonga Boonga through the weird boss mechanic, so I bought out my Escoffier to beat his ass and collected the abyss primos. And now in these final 10 minutes of the challenge, I quickly collected all of my unclaimed achievements and also completed some random Natlan mini quests which gave me an extra 100 primos. And just like that, 24 hours were up, and now it was finally time to see if I could get Skirk or not. But now before we start the pose, let me show you something super interesting which is also kind of helpful. You see, last night I made this small little spreadsheet about everything I did over the last 24 hours, and as you can see, I managed to get a total of 14,700 primos or about 97 wishes. Also, according to my calculations, the top 3 best ways to get primos is by using the monthly reset, doing events in permanent game modes, and also the Teapot furnishing. Also, make sure to avoid doing character quests and exploring the wrong regions, because those are 2 of the worst ways to get primos. But now that's not yapping, let's do the pulls now. Dude, imagine if he gets Skirk early after doing all that. Dude, I don't know if I'd be happy or not. Fine, let's see. First tempo, first tempo. Okay. I actually don't even know the 4 stars on the banner. Let's see. Okay, that is definitely not on the banner. 40 pity, we're halfway there. Our primos are evaporating. We need to get her now. This is like Genshin full recession, bro. Come on now. We're only left with like a third of our primos that we started with. You know what? 60 pulls? 60 pity is still early. Never mind, bro. Never mind. This is it. Come on now. You know, I'm gonna put positive ass music so you won't be able to tell if you lose the 50-50 or not. Let's go! Let's go! Easy win! We do that! Great.